I think we were up to Perek Hey Mishnah Hey. Fifth Perek, fifth Mishnah. So again, the preface to this Mishnah is the assumption that only things which have specific owners and are not equally available to Levi'im as to anybody else are obligated in trumos and Maasers. Therefore, Leket, which is just left that any poor person can take it regardless of who they are, including the Levi'im, are not obligated in trumos and Maasers. Therefore, Mishnah Hey, Hamachlif im haniyim. If the field owner exchanges some of his grain with the poor person for some of the leket that they collected, b'shalei paters ub'shal aniyim chayev. So now what the field owner ends up with is what's in fact leket. So that would be exempt from trumos and maasers. And what the ani ends up with is regular grain of a farmer, which is obligated in trumos and maasers. Okay. Then we have some halachas about not being able to take your own leket trumah, peah leket or shikcha, even if you're poor. So if shnayim shekiblu asada barisis, two people who accept to work a field as sharecroppers, and they'll get a portion of the grain as payment. So each one is, assuming they're both poor, each one can give the other his Maaser Ani, his tenth that has to go to the poor people, because it's not his own grain. However, Hamakabel Sad Liktsor, if a poor person accepts a field that he'll harvest it and get a percentage of the crop, Asr Leket Shichu Peah Maaser Ani, he's forbidden then to take the Leket Shichu or Peah Maaser Ani because it's considered he owns a portion of what he's harvesting, and therefore it's considered his own grain. So Amar Yehuda said, Emasai, when is that? That's only if he's getting a portion of whatever is here. But if the deal is a third of whatever you harvest, you can keep. So then he'd be allowed to take leket shikcha peah, because those all apply before it's harvested or while it's harvested, not after it's harvested. And his ownership only begins after it's harvested. Maaser Ani, but Maaser Ani comes from the harvested grain, so then he has a portion, and so he would not be able to take the Maaser Ani. Continuing Mishnah Vav, Hamoicher Esadei, if two poor people, one of them sells his field to the other, so now Hamoicher Mutter, even though he previously was the owner of the field, since he sold it, it's no longer his. So he could take like a shikcha peah, and the purchaser is forbidden because now it's his. Okay, and in a different vein, people can't. Someone can't hire a worker. And I'll give you a perk. I'll let your son be the one to collect leket behind you, because the owner of the field has no control over the leket. And similarly, misha eno miniach es haniyim l'loiket, someone who prevents the aniyim from collecting leket in his field, or sheminiach es ha'echad ve'echad loy, or he lets one and not another, or shemisayas echad mehem, or he helps one of them. Harizeh goizlos haniyim, he's stealing from the other aniyim. V'alzanem, when about such a person it says, al tasig gevul olam, don't change the borders of those who are going up, meaning you have to leave things with the way the halacha is. Okay, we'll start Mishnah Zayin. Mishnah Zayin begins the halachas of Shikcha, of some forgotten things in the field. So the first, most basic thing over here is ha'omer. If you have a bundle that was bundled and sheshakhu pailim, and the workers forgot it, then they put it off to the side and they forgot about it and they left it there. But v'lo shekhu balabayis, the field owner is around and he knows about that bundle. So then, or shikcha balabayis, he forgot about it, but the workers who were actually working didn't forget about it. Either way, or those are both not going to be considered shikcha. You need both the workers and the field owner to forget about it. Or similarly, amdu aniyim b'fanav, if a poor person stood in front of the bundle so the guy couldn't see it, so he forgot about it. O shechifu b'kash, or they covered it with some straw so the guy would think there was nothing there. Harei zeinu shikcha, that doesn't work. It has to be something that's completely forgotten, and on its own, the aniyim can't pull any tricks to try to make the balabayas forget about stuff so that they'd be able to take it. Okay, and we'll stop here. Anyone who wants to go to the rabbi can go to the rabbi, and we'll